great battle by claiming his government of light. It would be a battle of love against selfishness, of justice against injustice, of humility against pride, of freedom against slavery, of life against death. This battle without truce would last until at the desired dawn, the divine king could return victorious to the holy hill of Zion where, enthroned amid the praises of the redeemed, he would reign forever in perfect peace. The fleeing of darkness pointed to the final annihilation of the rebellion. Abundant waters covered that hitherto hidden world, which symbolized eternal life to the faithful that would be conquered by love that sacrifices everything. The world was revealed to be earth. Visited by the darkness and the light, it would be the scene of the great struggle. The faithful rejoiced in the triumph of light on that first day, when darkness suddenly rolled in his fury upon the planet, succumbing it to the thick darkness of night. The light, which seemed unsuccessful, was soon reborn victorious in a beautiful dawn. At dawn on the light of the second day, the Eternal commanded, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide between water and water." Immediately, the warmth of his light made an immense amount of steam to rise from the waters, enveloping the planet in a blanket of transparent indigo. Thus emerged the atmosphere, with its perfect blend of gases that would be essential to life that soon would crown the planet. The Creator, contemplating the expansion, called it heaven. The atmosphere, full of a glow that enveloped the earth, was then shadowed up by the twilight of another evening. The History of the Universe. Chapter 3. To overcome darkness on the third day, the Creator continued his work, giving rise to the immense continents which were still under the surface of the waters. With hands raised, he commanded, "Gather up the waters under the heavens in one place, and the dry land appear." In prompt obedience, the crystal-clear waters ceded its higher position to the rising dry ground, which overlapped them. In the lower regions of the earth, the waters continued reflecting the sky's glow to serve as a refreshment to thirsty creatures. In this gesture of humility, the water prefigured the Creator and the great struggle of his descent to the deepest abyss to revive thirsty souls in eternal life. Contemplating the face of that new world, Yahuwah called the dry ground land, and the gathered waters he called seas. With his powerful voice he continued commanding, "The earth will bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth." In obedience to the divine command, the solid surface of the planet took on all kinds of vegetation. Beautiful meadows to bloom, green fields interspersed with crystalline rivers, endless forests where leafy trees blossomed into endless flavorful species of fruit. The earth was like a canvas where the Creator, through the power of his word, made masterpieces of peerless beauty. While the hosts beheld with awe the beauty of that creation, they were surprised to recognize on the new planet the Garden of Eden, the home of Yahuwah's throne. Yahuwah, by the power of his word, had transferred it to the bosom of that special world, where justice would be confirmed in the government of the universe. On that spring day, the breeze gently caressed the green woods and meadows in bloom, flooding the atmosphere with soft aroma and freshness. Contemplating his work, the Creator happily exclaimed, "Behold, all that is very good." The lush planet fulfilled another day of its harmonious rotation. The faithful hosts could now better understand the importance of divine light. Its absence was overshadowed by the evening. In the new day, the Creator expressed his great power, giving the earth lights that fill with light and heat to display the beauty of Zion. These lights remain forever as symbols of the spiritual presence of the Eternal, which is the source of all light. Contemplating the dark and empty space that stretched around the earth, with a strong voice he commanded, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, to be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth." Immediately the space came forth by the glare of the sun and the reflection of planets and celestial bodies. Given this demonstration of power, the faithful hosts bowed in reverent worship. On the fourth day, the Eternal created the worlds of the solar system not to be inhabited like the earth, but for the balance of the system, and also to fill the sky with glowing light to diminish the darkness of earthly nights. Observing the earth, the hosts were glad to see her radiant. Raising his powerful hands, the Creator, looking primarily for crystal-clear waters, commanded, "Let the waters bring forth abundantly the living soul." Immediately, the waters became undulated by the presence of countless species of creatures, happy and grateful, celebrating their existence with a continuous swim and frolic. From microscopic beings to large whales, all appeared in complete harmony, reflecting in their nature their love of the Creator. His eyes alighting on the atmosphere and resting on the green forests, the Eternal continued, "Let birds fly on the face of the expanse of the heavens." Upon his order, the heavens were filled with colorful birds flying in all directions, carrying in their hearts a song of gratitude for life. This song filled the air, mingling with the scent of flowering bushes. Gazing with delight on his earthly creatures, the Eternal blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let fowl multiply in the earth." Jubilant, the faithful hosts witnessed the dawn of the sixth day. What would Yahuwah do in this new day? This question lingered in the minds of all rational beings. They were certain that something very special was about to happen. Raising his powerful arms, the Eternal commanded, "Produce on earth every living creature according to its kind, cattle, creeping things, and beasts of the earth according to its kind." His powerful voice was heard, and promptly in forests and fields, we could see the results of his creative power. Animals of all species awoke to a happy life amid a paradise of perfect peace. The earth had become extremely beautiful, like a princess adorned to receive their king and lord. Who would receive that special creation? Moving himself with majesty, the Eternal fell to the glories of the new world, directing himself to the Garden of Eden, the place of the divine throne. The angels of light accompanied him reverently, pausing like a cloud over the skies of paradise. The whole universe watched with deep interest the unfolding acts of the Creator in response to the accusations of his enemies. The moment was decisive. Everything indicated that the Eternal would not be tyrannical or selfish and would crown someone else over the hill Zion. Satan and his followers did not doubt that they would be given the kingdom and reign victorious within that ancient abyss where darkness and light were now intertwined. The subjects of light quivered against this perspective. Near the source of the river of life, the Eternal solemnly bowed down, and with the natural elements of earth began to mold, with great affection, a special creature. After a few moments, the first man, yet lifeless, was lying on the body of the Creator. Yahuwah looked at him, and after caressing his cheek pale and cold, breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man began to live. As if awakening from a deep sleep, the man opened his eyes and looked at the sweet face of his creator, who, smiling, kissed his cheek, now flushed and full of life. Thrilled to hear the Eternal say to him softly and full of affection, "My son, my dear son." Because he was born of the soil, the first man was named Adam. Taking him by the hand, the Eternal raised him. Without regard of the glow that surrounded the Creator, Adam, in gratitude for his existence, involved the him in a tender embrace, falling down in reverent worship. The witnessing hosts of the faithful admired Adam's great divine realization, and excited by that human gesture, fell also in reverent worship. They then joined voices in a song of joy in greeting to that special creature, who awoke to life at a moment so critical to the universe. With a heart full of happiness, Adam joined the angels in their song of praise. His voice echoing around the flowers, mingled with the singing of the birds and the lowing of the approaching admiring animals. He climbed up the lofty trees that swayed in the breeze with branches hanging with abundant flowers and fruits. Leaning here and there, he was attracted by the glow of precious stones that adorned the lawn. With intense joy, Adam took notice of the endless species of animals that populated the garden. All were meek and submissive, and lived in perfect harmony and happiness. Pausing in his footsteps, Adam wondered at the whiteness and sweetness of an animal that was playing on the lawn. He came and took him in his arms, dedicating special affection to it. How nice it was to stroke its wool. His little eyes reflected a gentle glow of love and humility. There was something special about that animal. Sincerely, Adam called it Lamb. With the lamb in his arms, Adam looked gratefully to the Eternal and worshipped him. Contemplating his robes and his expressive eyes of a matchless love, Adam discovered that he had in his arms a symbol of its author. Happy, Adam exclaimed, "O Yahweh, this lamb coated with white wool, with an expressive look of so much love, looks like you. I want to always have it with me." Observing the animals, Adam realized that they enjoyed a special camaraderie. Everywhere were happy couples who lived for each other. His thoughts turned to his partner. He looked around and was surprised not to see one. He wondered if Yahuwah had purposely concealed them by making them invisible. Adam felt lonely in the midst of this paradise. Who would share his happiness and love? There were animals, but they were irrational and cannot share in their ideals. It was born in his heart, when walking alone that evening, a burning desire to find someone who could always be by his side. While Adam was looking at the distant hills in hope of seeing someone, Yahuwah introduced himself to his side and told him, "It is not good that man should be alone. Soon you'll have a companion." Adam was happy to hear this promise of the Creator, just when he longed to have someone to always be visible next to him. Taken by a deep sleep, Adam leaned back in the bosom of his loving Creator, who, embracing him, did fall asleep. In his subconscious were the first colored dreams. They included the sweet look of the Eternal, hearing the harmonious sound of angelic music, discovering the wonders all around. Mount Zion with its rainbow, the river of life, the meadows in bloom, the animals that greeted him. Adam's gaze extended over the grassy meadows and flowering hills in the distance. While hiking hopefully, he could feel the gentle breeze stroking his soft hair. He began a conversation with the breeze. "Breeze, you seem to be the one I seek." "You stroke my hair, kiss my face, you have the scent of green forests. If I could see your face, I would kiss you. If I could touch your hair, I would make long braids and grace it with flowers from our garden. After walking through the meadows, in his dream of paradise, Adam paused as he looked around the landscape. He marveled that he could not see the effect of the breeze in the flowering branches, even though he could feel it warmly on his face. He then began to awaken from his dream. Even with eyes closed, he remembered the moment. Sleepy, he leaned on the breast of the Eternal. Could it be a breeze stroking his hands? With this question, he opened his eyes and was thrilled to contemplate a beautiful woman with hands scented, stroking his cheek lovingly. It was the breath of his dream, the promise of a creator who just wanted to make him happy. Now Adam was full, as was Eve, who was flesh of his flesh and bone of his bone. Taking her by the hand, Adam invited her for a tour of unforgettable surprises. He would show his partner the beauties of his home. Eve touched something with every step. She was attracted to the flowers that gave off sweet perfumes, to the birds singing cheerful songs, and to the animals that follow them submissively. The vegetation grew around them in rich hues, and the clear waters of the river of life flowed cascading from the hill Zion. In paradise, everything was perfect and beautiful, but nothing matched the human being created in the image of Yahuwah. They turned to each other in awe and caresses. They remained in this loving embrace until sunset. With delight, the young couple began to contemplate the setting sun through pink rays which tinged the sky in a gorgeous afterglow. The sixth day came to its end, giving way to hours of a special day, Sabbath. That day, in meaning, would be solemn to all the subjects of the Eternal, since its dawn would bring victory to the kingdom of light. The sun, which during the sixth day brought joy to nature with its brightness and warmth, hid itself, leaving cold shadows. The cheerful birds, silencing their trills, sought their nests, while the other animals retired to their beds. Only the couple remained motionless, looking at the last flicker in the fading horizon, which gave the hope of a new dawn. The couple inquired to the meaning of the darkness when, through the branches, they saw a beautiful moonlight, whose silvery rays bathed nature in soft light. The entire sky was lit by the glow of the stars. Adam found that the night was only darkness when he looked down. Adam and Eve, in their innocence, did not know that night symbolized the bleak future of humanity. When they understood, they would be comforted to contemplate the splendor of the heavens. The moonlight speaks of hope, and the twinkling stars testify of the interest of the hosts of light in them to enlighten the darkness and give encouragement to repentant sinners. But only those who desire to be enlightened, averting their eyes from the earth, would behold the heavens. After contemplating for a while the sky in its luminosity, the couple, remembering the beauty of paradise, turned their eyes to their surroundings. But they were hidden in the shadows. They longed for the dawn, because only it could bring back paradise. Before the yearning of the human heart, the Eternal appeared in the midst of darkness, returning to the couple the joy of meeting again in a colorful garden. Bathed in soft light, they now walked through green and flowery meadows. The brightness of the Creator awakened nature wherever they went, coloring and brightening all around. The couple, in admiration, learned that beside the Eternal, they could have a paradise in the night. Feeling sleepy, Adam and Eve leaned back into the lap of the loving Father and began to sleep sweetly, hopeful of happy mornings. Laying them down on the soft grass, the Eternal rose up towards the contemplative hosts of heaven. He would manifest himself again at dawn, making the couple wake up to the most solemn event, which would reduce to dust the vile accusations of their enemies. The cold, dark night, through its long hours, seemed to mock the light. Would it forever overshadow the beauty of creation? Oh, never. The sun would not back down before the majesty of darkness and would soon emerge as a liberator, snatching nature with his warm rays from the cold claws of night, giving it life and color. In a final challenge, the darkness became dense in the hours before dawn. The night enlists its forces to fight for dominance usurped. Finally, in the east came a glimmer of hope that seemed to speak in a new day. The sky gradually became colored bright red. Darkness fell powerless before the growing strength of the light and was consumed on their trail. Nature began to awaken from the long night, reflecting on her breast the longing rays. Flowers opened, exhaling scents of joy. Animals and birds, silenced by the night, joined their voices in song in triumphant salute to the dawn of that great day. The dark night was over, giving way to the light of daydreaming, a day to Yahweh which had special meaning because it prefigured the final victory of his kingdom on the field of rebellion. The Eternal now awoke his human children who bathed by the light of his presence, having fallen asleep in the hope of a happy dawn. In a festive march, all holy hosts, with songs of victory, followed him into the paradise bathed with light.